Prescription drug prices could soon be dramatically reduced. President Trump signed an executive order today giving drug makers a 30-day deadline to voluntarily reduce costs.
But it is unclear whether he has the legal authority to do this. So political reporter Marcia Kramer is here to sort it out for us. Marcia.
Well, Christine and Jess, it's hard to disagree with the president's goal to end what his order calls the global freeloading of other countries who pay less for drugs because Americans paid the cost of research and development. But he may have to use the so-called bully pulpit, threats of reprisals if the drug companies don't knuckle under.
One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden.
And he was off and running. President Trump saying drug companies should charge Americans what they charge other countries under a most favored nation pricing model, something he tried and failed to get during his first term.
The rest of the world's going to have to pay a little bit more, and America's going to pay a lot less.
The president wants Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and others to negotiate new prices. But if they don't, the executive order threatens retribution ranging from antitrust charges to revocation of drug approvals. There was immediate pushback from Big Pharma, the president of the drug company trade group calling it, quote, a bad deal for American patients and workers. It would mean less treatments and cures and would jeopardize the hundreds of billions our member companies are planning to invest in America, threatening jobs, hurting our economy, and making us more reliant on China for innovative medicines. Retired computer programmer Mike DiFilippo suffers from psoriatic arthritis and has to take cheaper meds because $900 a tube for the best stuff is out of reach.
Do you suffer every day?
Yes, and it's chronic pain. And, with these drugs, I could feel better.
If he ends up with reduced drug prices, I think everybody's going to be happy.
It's good for drug prices to be reduced because regardless of if you get sick and you don't have the money, how possible are you going to get your drugs being paid?
Anything this president says is a bad idea, in my opinion.
I'm not really a President Trump fan, but if he's going to help keep costs down, I would appreciate that.
Well, AARP applauded the move, saying that for too long, big drug companies have been ripping off seniors and forcing older adults to skip medications they can't afford. Big Pharma also says the administration is right to use trade negotiations to force foreign governments to pay their fair share.
What about the politics side of all of this, Marcia? Explain that.
Well, it's going to be very complicated because the president says he wants this to be part of his so-called big, beautiful bill that's making its way through Congress. The president said it will make it more difficult for Democrats to vote against the bill, but there are also many Republicans who oppose regulations on drug prices. So I guess we're going to just have to see which side wins out.
Wow. So he's tying it to this big spending bill.
He is, because he wants to get it passed, and he wants to goad Democrats into approving it. And there's so much in there that the Democrats don't like. It's going to be really hard.
Interesting.
Marcia, thank you.